you've never been here before, we don't have erasers on our pencils. I know, kind of scary, we can't go back and erase mistakes, but we don't need to worry about it. Rather, we're going to start with very light lines, and we're going to make as many mistakes as we need, because we're only darkening in the lines that we actually like. That will be our final sketch, and I'll let you know when to do that. Now, for the character today, I'm sure some of you saw outside it said Disney villain, and nobody would tell you what character we're drawing. That's on purpose, because nobody knows the character we're drawing until we come in here and decide what we're drawing. So we are drawing Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, okay, awesome. We got some fans. Yeah, this guy over here. All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started drawing him then. Okay, yes. Let's go ahead and start with a circle. Now, I like to divide up my page a little bit here. Find the middle, and right above that is where we're going to have our circle. I would say make it a little bit smaller, maybe the size of a baseball. It's probably going to be good. We're just going to go around and around, lots and lots of lines, building the circle up. There we go. Now once you have that, let's go ahead and add in some guidelines. And our first one will be his eye line. This goes very close to the left side, or our center line. I think I said eye line. Very close to the side of the circle, left side. We're just going to extend that up and down here. His eye line, I find the middle of the circle and go slightly below. So we should have the Smash Brothers symbol here. That's what we're looking for. Once you have that, we have pretty much everything we need to get started. But I like to build up one more shape to help out. Doofenshmirtz's head is not a circle. It is a gigantic triangle. Like pretty much all the characters have different shapes in the show. You should never look at them from the front because it's horrifying. If you've seen Phineas and Ferb on ice, you know that to be true. And we are just starting with a line here on the right side of the circle. We're just going to bring this above and below. For the right side, or for the line, I like to find how big the circle is and go at least that tall. So I'm actually going to extend this a little bit further here. And then at least that far below as well. So that's where we want the ends of that line. Now for the other side here, to create the rest of this triangle, I'm going to go to pretty much right to the eye line here, is where I'm going to end the diagonal line that I'm bringing to the top. And it curves in slightly as we move down to kind of get towards the bottom. So I'm pulling it in very slightly, keeping it nice and light still. And then the bottom here, we're actually going to pull that down slightly as we extend it out to the left. So it's not exactly a triangle, but it's pretty close. Close enough. There we go. Now we can actually start adding in those features. And I'm going to start things off with his eyes. First thing we want a nice big circle right up against the eye line. This is going to touch the top of the circle and the center line as well as the eye line. So very, very big circle for his first eye. Dr. Doofenshmirtz is a little bit of the, kind of quirky. I feel like he's the Goofy of, of Phineas and Ferb, because he has terrible luck, and he is just all over the place. He's doing crazy experiments and stuff. I'm going to add in his other eye. This one's more of an oval, and it's sticking outside of the face here, just going a little bit past. Now you can go ahead and lock in your circle first, because it is going slightly in front of your oval. Go ahead and lock in these eyes. Phineas and Ferb is directed by two people. One of them is actually the voice of Doofenshmirtz here. Does anybody know who that is? Dan Povenmire. Yeah, absolutely. Dan Povenmire. And then his buddy Jeff Swampy Marsh is the other co-director. They worked on it together. They actually met in other stuff that they worked on. So Dan worked on The Simpsons, Family Guy, Rocko's Modern Life, and SpongeBob. And then Jeff worked on The Simpsons, which is where they originally met. And he also worked on Rocko's Modern Life and Cat Dog. But they became great friends and created this show. It actually took a long time for Phineas and Ferb to be picked up. It took 16 years for them to pick the show up, which I think is crazy because the show is amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. Now that we've got his eyes in here looking very spooky, let's go ahead and wake him up. We're going to add in some pupils. And for that, I'm going to have our first circle. I placed this a little bit higher than the middle, towards the right side of his eye here. And you can go ahead and shade that in nice and dark. His other pupil is going to go right up against the circle, but still you want to try and keep it about the same height there. Shade that in nice and dark. Right now he's not looking very evil. We want him to, be that Disney show villain. So let's add in a little C curve here right on top of the eye. They go directly above, and they're not constrained to his face, so they actually extend it outside. This first one's going to stay on the inside though. We're going to turn this into a swoosh or a ladle. Bring this right above his eye and add a little bit of thickness, bless you. His other eyebrow, we're going to pull right into this one. We're just going to make it more of a hill this time, and it just extends right out of his face. How he is able to use this eyebrow, I have no idea. But it's okay, it's short time. Now that we have that, let's move to the top. We're going to finish up the top of the head here. He has his hair all the way at the very top of our triangle. I actually did not leave enough space, so I'm going to pull it down for you guys. Let's start with a very light circle. I feel like this definitely helps out in creating all of it. It extends out from different points on the circle. So I'm going to start with an upside down letter V. Or just two diagonal lines here. And then on other areas of the circle, we're going to bring some more lines out. So I want to make all of his hair pretty much blocky. He has some more triangular ones up at the top of his head. But the rest of this is going to be these little rectangles sticking off of the circle. He has a longer one right above that. We'll go ahead and add in two hills and a diagonal line to close it up. Do the same thing over here on the other side. So we've got two little hills extending out. And then another diagonal line to close it up, make it a little bit more boxy. And then the very top here, let's add in these little, I'm going to say like shark fin shapes. We're going to do two C curves to create that. Bring that towards the right side of that circle. And this one's just going to have a little small one. So we're just going to pull this on down here. And you can go ahead and shade that in. If you do shade it in though, use the side of your pencil. That's going to shade a lot faster. Usually creates pretty even gradient. It's like more like using a crayon than a pencil. It's a thicker line. Alright. Now, Doofenshmirtz here actually ended up with a very different name. It was going to be Dr. Needleschmertz. And I'm really glad that did not happen. But both of them have 13 letters, both of those names. And that is specifically in reference to his terrible luck and tragic backstory. So they wanted Doof to just have the worst time ever for his whole life. I feel really sorry for him as a character. Once you have this, let's go ahead and add in a C curve right below the eye line along the edge of our straight line down. It's going to be his ear. And the inside of his ear is kind of strange. It's just a number 3. That's going to be the inside there. They get away with a lot in designing characters, and I feel like this is one of those strange ways that they draw ears, but it's okay because everybody still knows it's an ear. This is going to place us at about halfway done though. How are we doing so far? Alright, yeah, nice. We got a lot of good out there. Got a lot of silence too. Little mumbles, that's okay. You know what? We're still missing quite a bit of our character right now. So don't be hard on yourself if you're not feeling it just yet. Keep going, you know, make it all the way through. Practice makes perfect, so you can always try again if you don't like yours right now. But let's go ahead and start adding in his nose. He has this long nose that sticks out, and it starts here. I find where our center line touches the circle, we're just going to bring a straight line out, about as wide as that circle. So, pretty long nose. And from the center line again, we're going to go right below the eyes, pull the curve down, back up to your eye line, and extend it out. So it's really a sideways S curve that's going to give him this nice beak. You want him to have that long beak nose. Now, his arch nemesis, anybody know who I'm talking about? Harry the platypus. Yeah, Harry is actually the only character in the entire show who is in every single episode. And this is the longest running Disney animated show as well. It actually beats out Kim Possible. It went for, I think, 8 years, 2007 to 2015, so a very long time. And then Dr. Doofenshmirtz's story actually continues on in a different show. I think it's called Milo Murphy's Law. So the universe continues to expand. It's getting pretty good. But let's go ahead and continue on here. We want to give him a nice evil smile. He's got this kind of awkward smile to him. But we're going to start, you can go ahead and start right below our circle and pull a curve up. We're going to make him have this nice smile to start off with. Then we're going to curve the end as we bring this towards the edge of the circle. Just like that. And I find that adding in the teeth first actually helps out a little bit. So I'm going to bring a line down, just a small line here. Nice and lightly, I'm going to add a flat line going towards the right side. And then one more line sticking out in the front. He has a little bit more of an underbite. The right side of his mouth is parallel to the side of his head, so I'm going to bring this down a little ways. And then below that, we'll bring a straight line out towards the edge of the triangle. Just round out the corner here and the corner up here as well, so it's not too sharp. Even though he is a villain, he still has some pretty rounded features. And then this bottom section, that is going to be his chin. So I'm going to round it out with a C curve or like a hook shape here. And pull this back towards the right. And we can start to lock some stuff in. If you lock in the side of his head here, only lock it in up to the bottom of his mouth. His neck sticks out that way. That's where we're going to add over there. So I'm going to go ahead and start building it up again, locking in our lines. Harry the platypus. Platypus, you know, they're brown, but in the show he is blue, and that's actually because in certain light, platypus actually do look kind of teal, which I think is pretty wild that happens. And Jeff Swampy Marsh, his mom actually thought he made up an animal because she'd never heard of a platypus or seen one, so she didn't think they were real. Which I think is hilarious. They're like, no, this is a real animal, Mom. I did not make this up. I'm going to add a little line coming down so that we can see a little separation on the teeth. And then I'm just shading in this little triangle section on the right. And finish that up as well. Platypus are really strange creatures. If you've ever gotten the chance to see one, they're really cool. But they are actually the only mammals that lay eggs. And, you know, they kind of look like a beaver as well. They're strange little guys. Beaver combined with a duck. Really cool, though. Now that we've got his head in here, though, we're going to finish things up with a little bit of his neck and a little bit of his lap coat. He's always getting mistaken for a pharmacist, you know, as he's always wearing that lab coat. So we're going to add that in there. You can decide if you want him to be a pharmacist or a bad guy. That's completely up to you in your drawing. But go ahead and start things off with his neck here. We're just pulling these two lines to the side. He does not have super great posture, same. We're gonna start it there and add in this little C curve. Nice and light though. I'm gonna go ahead and pull from there his back, I guess. Oh, bless you. I don't know exactly what to call this. But we're going to bring that over, keep it light, because we're actually adding in, he has this turtleneck, and it's kind of bunching up right here with this donut shape, or a C curve. And then I'm pulling from the bottom, right about the middle of that C curve, a line straight down. And then one more curving out slightly from the right side. And for the lab coat, we're going to see the coat tails. I don't know what these are called actually, but letter L's. We're going to add these letter L's extending out. And then same thing over here on the other side, but it's starting all the way up at the top. And two more letter L's or zigzag lines. That right there is pretty much everything you need for Doofenshmirtz here. You can go ahead and lock things in. Maybe you want to shade in the turtleneck that is more of a darker color in the show. But definitely make sure you find a place on your page to go ahead and sign your name. Every artist needs a signature. In the end, how do we feel about our sketches? Okay, mixed reviews. Got it. That's okay. You know what? He is a very long character, pretty tough character, so don't be hard on yourselves. I'm sure you did amazing. Unfortunately, I went way over time doing this, so I'm going to have to head out. But give yourselves a big round of applause for passing the class, finishing up your drawings for today. And thank you for coming. Class is dismissed. Bye-bye.
How about a big round of applause for your artist, Andrew? Thanks so much, Andrew. And thank you for coming to the Animation Academy. Your exit doors are now open on the far left-hand side of the classroom, the same doors that you entered in. Before you leave us, please make sure you prop up the boards with the pencils back in this spring, as you need them for